She didn't know it was him. He didn't care what she looked like, but that one coffee changed both of their lives forever. A broken bar. That's how it all began on a rainy Thursday afternoon, in a little cafe. Copyright that smelled like roasted dreams and second chances. Emma sat nervously at the corner table, twisting her fingers together. She wasn't the type to go on blind dates, but her best friend insisted. "You've been through enough heartbreaks," she said. "Just one coffee, who knows? Maybe fate works in caffeine." But Emma wasn't here for fate. She was here because she was tired of being lonely. After losing her job 3 months ago and struggling to pay rent, loneliness had become her only constant companion. She didn't even know why she agreed to meet a stranger, especially today when her wallet had barely a few crumpled bills left. Across town, Adrian Collier, yes, that Adrian Cole, CEO of one of the biggest tech firms in the city, was getting ready for his own blind date. But unlike Emma, he didn't need love to survive. He had money, reputation, and success carved into every inch of his life. What he didn't have was peace. His assistant had begged him to take a break, to meet someone normal for once. He had laughed at the idea, but something inside him said yes, maybe because, despite his wealth, he had forgotten what real connection felt like. The bell above the cafe copyright door jingled as Adrian stepped inside. He was dressed casually, a gray sweater, jeans, no bodyguards. He wanted to blend in, to be just a man for once. His assistant had only given him a name, Emma. At the same time, Emma was anxiously glancing at her phone, wondering if her date had stood her up. Of course, she muttered under her breath, who would want to meet a broke girl who smells like cheap perfume and worry? But when she looked up, she saw him. He smiled kindly, genuinely, and walked toward her. "Emma?" he asked softly. She nodded, surprised. He wasn't what she expected. He had the calm eyes of someone who'd seen too much and still managed to be kind. "Sorry I'm late," he said, pulling out the chair. "Traffic was terrible." She smiled awkwardly. "No worries. I wasn't sure you'd come." He chuckled. "Neither was I." Minutes turned into an hour. They talked about small things at first, coffee, books, weather, but then about deeper things. Emma told him about losing her job at the bookstore, about her dream to one day open her own place filled with stories and second chances. Adrian listened, really listened. For once, he didn't interrupt or check his phone. He told her, vaguely, about his own struggles, about building a company that took everything from him: his time, his peace, his relationships. He didn't mention he was a CEO. To her, he was just Adrian, a man who liked black coffee and had the same tired look she saw in herself. For the first time in months, Emma laughed. She forgot the pressure of her unpaid bills, the rejection emails, the sleepless nights, and Adrian, broken bar, forgot the weight of his empire. Then came the check. The waiter placed it on the table with a polite smile. Emma's heart sank. She had ordered just a cup of coffee and a muffin, thinking she could afford it, but she hadn't noticed when he ordered an extra drink for her, and when she added a sandwich midway. She reached for her bag, praying silently. Her fingers trembled as she opened her wallet to empty except for a few coins. Adrian noticed. "Everything okay?" he asked gently. Her cheeks turned red. "I'm so sorry, a broken bar. I thought I had enough." But as she swallowed hard, embarrassed tears forming, "I can pay you back later. I just But before she could finish, he smiled softly and said, "It's on me." She froze. "No, I can't." He leaned forward. "Ma, please, it's just coffee. Let me." There was something so warm in his voice that her eyes stung. Not pity, not arrogance, just kindness. "Thank you," she whispered, barely holding back tears. He smiled. "You do the same for someone else one day." They walked outside together. The rain had stopped, leaving behind a golden shimmer on the street. Emma shivered slightly, and Adrian offered his jacket. "Do you always pay for strangers' coffee?" she teased, trying to lighten the mood. He chuckled. "Only for those who remind me what being human feels like." She laughed, unaware of who he really was. They parted ways that dial with no promises, just a quiet understanding that something had changed. Days turned into weeks. Emma went back to job hunting. Then one morning, she received an email from a new local bookstore chain opening in the city. They were hiring. When she arrived for the interview, her jaw nearly dropped at the name on the company letterhead, Cole Page. She smiled nervously, thinking it was just coincidence, but when she entered the office, she froze. Adrian was there, in his sleek suit, surrounded by staff. He looked completely different, commanding, powerful, untouchable, but when he saw her, his eyes softened. "Ma," he said, smiling. "Glad you came." She blinked. "You a broken bar, you own this place?" He nodded. "I told you I liked stories. I thought maybe we could build one together." Her eyes filled with tears. He had remembered her dream to open a bookstore of her own. "I don't understand," she whispered. Adrian smiled gently. "You reminded me what I lost to the joy of simple things. I wanted to bring that back, with you." That day, Emma got the job not because she was pitied, but because she deserved it. And over time, as they worked side by side, their connection grew into something deeper. Love was an instant. It bloomed quietly, between shared coffee breaks and laughter-filled evenings, built on kindness instead of wealth. Months later, as the Café Tilde copyright reopened for its anniversary, Adrian took her back to that same corner table. The waiter placed the bill again. This time, Emma reached for it. He stopped her hand. "It's on me," he whispered with a smile. She laughed through her tears. "You've been saying that since the first day we met." He leaned closer. "And I'll keep saying I'd a broken bar for the rest of our lives."